BFG Chapter 6. The Giants. But if you're not so nice and friendly, Sophie said, then why did you snatch me from my bed and run away with me? Oh, because you saw me. The BFG answered, oh, if anyone has ever seen a giant, he or she must be taken away hip-switch. Why? Oh, well, first of all, human beings is not really believing in giants, is they? Human beings is not thinking we exist. I do. But that's only because you've seen me. I cannot possibly allow anyone, even little girls, to be seeing me and staying at home. The first thing you'd be doing, you would be scuttling around, yodeling the news that you were actually seeing a giant. Oh, and then a great giant hunt. A mighty giant looks he would be starting up all over the world, with the human beings all rummaging for the great giant you saw and getting wildly excited. People would be coming rushing and bushing after me with goodness knows what, and they'd be catching me and locking me into a cage to be stared at. They'd be putting me into a zoo, or the bunker mouse, with all those squiggling hippo dumplings and crocodile-dillies. Sophie knew that what the giant said was true. If any person reported actually having seen a giant haunting the streets of a town at night, there would most certainly be a terrific hullabaloo across the world. Oh, I'll bet you, the BFG went on, that you would have been splashing the news all over the wonky world, wouldn't you, if I hadn't wiggled you away? Well, I suppose I would. Oh, and that would never do. So what's going to happen to me now? Sophie asked. Oh, if you do go back, you'll be telling the world. Most likely on the telly bunkum box and the radio squeaker. So you just have to be staying here for the rest of your life. Oh no, cried Sophie. Oh yes, but I'm warning you, not ever to go whiffling about out of this cave without I is with you, or you'll be coming to an ucky-mucky end. I'm showing you now who is going to eat you up if they's ever catching you, even one tiny little glimpse of you. The big friendly giant picked Sophie off the table and carried her to the cave entrance. He rolled the huge stone to one side and said, peep out over there, little girl, and tell me what you're seeing. Sophie, sitting on the BFG's hand, peeped out of the cave. The sun was up now and shining fiery hot over the great yellow wasteland with its blue rocks and dead trees. Oh, was you seeing them? The BFG asked. And this is what Sophie saw. Pretty scary sight. Sophie, squinting through the glare of the sun, saw several tremendous tall figures moving among the rocks about 500 yards away. 3 or 4 others were sitting quite motionless on the rocks themselves. Oh, this is giant country. Those is all giants, every one of them. It was a brain-boggling sight. The giants were all naked except for a sort of short skirt around their waists, and their skins were burnt by the sun. But it was the sheer size of each one of them that boggled Sophie's brain most of all. They were simply colossal. Far taller and wider than the big friendly giant upon whose hand she was now sitting, and, oh, how ugly they were. Many of them had large bellies. All of them had long arms and big feet. They were far too far away for their faces to be seen clearly, but perhaps that was a good thing. What on earth are they doing? Sophie asked. Oh, nothing. They's just moochling and foochling around and waiting for the night to come. Then they'll be off galloping off to places where people is living to find their suppers. You mean to Turkey? Oh, bone-crunching giant will be galloping to Turkey, of course. But the others will be whiffling off to all sorts of flung-away places like Wellington for the booty flavour and Panama for the hatty taste. Every giant is having his own favourite hunting ground. Do they ever go to England? Oh, often. They say the English is tasting ever so wonderfully of crod scallop. I'm not sure I quite know what that means. Oh, meaning's not important. I cannot be right all the time. Quite often I's left instead of right. And all those beastly giants over there really going off again to eat people. Oh, all of them's guzzling human beings every night. All of them excepting me. That's why you'll be coming to an ucky-mucky end if any of them should ever be getting his gogglers upon you. You'd be swallowed up like a piece of frumpkin pie, or all in one dollop. But eating people is terrible. It's frightful. Why doesn't someone stop them? And who, please, is going to be stopping them? That's the BFG. And there is a picture of Sophie on the hand of the BFG. You get a sign, an understanding of just how big the BFG is. Well, couldn't you stop them? Asked Sophie. Oh, never as in a pig's whistle. All of those man-eating giants is enormous and very fierce. They's all at least 2 times my wideness and double my royal height and double my royal highness. Twice as high as you. Easily that. You seeing them in the distance, but just wait till you get them up close. Those giants is at least 50 feet tall, with huge muscles and cockles alive, oh. I's the titchy one. I's the runt. 24 feet is puddle nuts in giant country. Oh, you mustn't feel bad about it. I think you're just great. Why, even your toes must be as big as sausages. Oh, bigger, said the BFG, looking pleased. Oh, they is as big as bumplehammers. How many giants are there out there? Oh, 9 altogether. That means that somewhere in the world, every single night, 9 wretched people get carried away and eaten alive. Oh, more. It's all depending, you see, on how big the human beings is. Japanese beans is very small, so a giant will need to gobble up about 6 Japanese before he's feeling full up. Others, like the Norway people and the Yankee Doodles, is ever so much bigger, and usually 2 or 3 of those makes a good tuck-in. But do these disgusting giants go to every single country in the world? All countries excepting Greece is getting visited some time or another. The country which a giant visits is dependent on how he's feeling. If it's very warm weather and a giant's feeling as hot as a sizzle pan, he'll probably go galloping far up to the Frisbee North to get himself an Eskimo or 2 to cool him down. A nice fat Eskimo is to a giant, is like a lovely ice cream lolly to you. I'll take your word for it. Oh, and then again, if it's a frosty night and the giant's frigid with cold, he'll probably point his nose towards the sweltering hot lands to guzzle a few Hottentots to warm him up. How perfectly horrible. Oh, nothing hots a cold giant up like a hot Hottentot. And if you were to put me down on the ground and I was to walk out among them now, would they really eat me up? Oh, like a whistwiddle. And what's more, you so small they wouldn't even have to chew you. The first one to be seen, you would pick you up with his fingers and down you'd go like a drop of drain water. Let's get back inside. I hate even watching them.